Welcome back to Faces Behind the Business on Village Connector TV. We're coming down the home stretch with my dear friend Nancy De Luca Stempel, the Executive Director of the Learning Community International. And we're going to talk now about some very important practical questions that parents have. Probably one of the most important series of questions that drove our decision to become a Learning Community International family member. And I know it's on the minds of a lot of you as well. And that is, will my child receive a transcript and grades and a diploma at the end of the learning process? And will they be disadvantaged in any way when applying for college, jobs, or other higher educational experiences after high school? So Nancy, what do you say to that? Let's start first with the grades and a transcript. Since we're customizing the learning experience, is there a transcript? Is there grades? How does that work?
So because the Learning Community is a Maryland private school and accredited by Middle States, that accredits all the college and universities and private schools on the East Coast, we actually have an official transcript that accompanies the student, and it's a graded program. So there's grades and there's an official transcript at graduation, and they receive a Maryland private school diploma. As far as disadvantages, it's actually the opposite. Because of this kind of empowering, customized program, they see these students as real feathers in their cap to admit these students to the universities. As far as jobs, same situations, scholarships. A lot of times there's a GPA and an accreditation question by the scholarship issuers. So we have that covered. What also accompanies the transcript when they go to apply to a four-year university is a letter from the learning community. It's a profile, and it talks about who the learning community is, what we do, and what kind of students are enrolled in our program. So you really are looking at setting yourself aside from the typical cookie-cutter kind of students, or I should say the programs that are out there. They all have a GPA, they all have the SATs, and they have the standardized courses for the prerequisites. But the way these students have co-collaborated in creating this, and the real-world opportunities they've had, and the kind of motivation when they're choosing these colleges and courses, it's very much coming from a place of personal motivation and experience. So it's actually very powerful.
So you raised an interesting point, which is not only are they not disadvantaged, they're placed at an advantage.
Right. They stand apart from their peers coming from traditional schools.
And because a lot of academic institutions that are looking at them, they are seeing the same things all the time.
Right.
Something looks a little bit different. They take a time to look at it a little bit more I don't want to say critically, but a little more carefully, and that actually is what reveals to them that this student has got something special.
Right.
You're usually looking at an application to college for something special in the essay or something in the history or the experience of the student, but this academic experience is what becomes different in the history of the student.
Right.
The fashion in which they learned, from a very practical standpoint, how to make choices in life, how to decide the direction that they want to go. And you have facilitated that for some students from kindergarten all the way through the high school experience.
Exactly.
So they've never known any different when it comes to their ability to create their world as they go along.
Right. One thing that we didn't mention, we talked a little bit about designing that curriculum. What comes out of that is a personal awareness and an accountability that lacks in a lot of kids going to four-year universities. There's a lot of statistics of those kids struggling in that first year because they haven't had that kind of opportunity. So we see that in our students. They're very successful. Not all of them go to apply to four-year universities. A lot of them are actually taking classes at the community college while they're in high school. They graduate with an associate's degree and a high school diploma, and they can be applying to a four-year university as a junior. So they're very self-aware.
That's beautiful. And again, that goes to that's a testament to the empowerment that comes from being able to create your learning experience the way you want to experience it. I did know some very, very talented students who took college level courses when they were in high school.
Sure.
But that was such a rarity. No one really discussed it. You had to almost ask for that because your guidance counselors didn't talk with you about it.
Right, and not a lot of parents know that that's an opportunity.
Well, I love everything that you do at the Learning Community International. Obviously, I've entrusted my son's academic experience to you at the Learning Community International. And we are very much looking forward to having Nolan complete high school as a Learning Community International graduate.
Absolutely.
I want to see him at the graduation ceremony giving his valedictorian speech,
Right.
which each individual student gives.
Right.
Every student's required to give a valedictorian speech at the graduation.
Right.
And that is just truly emblematic of what it means to create your learning experiences the way you would like to experience them.
Right, and not everyone, you can't just go online and enroll in the learning community. You have to go through an admissions process, and we're looking for the right match. We're looking for the parents and the students to make it a perfect match. And we look for parents like yourself and like Nolan that want to take on that opportunity and take it on wholeheartedly, and are exploring and see that flexibility as an empowering opportunity. So we look for the right match, and we're glad that you're with us.
Well, we're glad we found you, and we're glad you found us. And now that you have found the Learning Community International, we encourage you to explore it as well. Take advantage of the discovery session opportunity. The worst that will happen is that you'll know what you know and be able to decide whether it's for you. So Nancy De Luca Stempel, thank you so much for joining us on Faces Behind the Business on Village Connector TV. And
Thank you, Glenn.
parents, please do something special for your child by at least exploring where the opportunities may be for you at the Learning Community International. My name is Glenn Garnes, and I want to thank you for joining us for this segment.